Alrighty, guys, so let's check out the brand new uniques and legendaries that just got announced for Season 3. So starting off, I want to go ahead and mention some items. We don't have all of the stats. Like, this is kind of how it looks like in the post. It just has the unique or legendary power. So take it with a grain of salt if you are thinking about running these, even though the effect might be good. If there are some gloves and it's missing out on attack speed or crit hit chance, well, then it's going to be inferior to maybe another pair of gloves. So the first one actually has all of its stats. This is going to be a sorcerer unique called the Starfall Corona. So it's got max life, cooldown reduction, ranks, meteor, lucky hit chance, and the unique special power is that meteor now has 2 charges with a 11 to 6 second charge cooldown instead of mana cost, and drops 3 additional meteors around the target. Meteors enhancement effect and enhanced meteor drop 1 additional meteor. So this could be actually pretty good for maybe a meteor build. It's going to be more than likely build defining for a new playstyle, which is just meteor. But remember, these are charges. Now I'm kind of curious to know if you're going to be able to kind of, with cooldown reduction, actually gain these charges even faster, because this could be pretty big for it, but we'll have to wait and see. So let's go ahead and go over all of the patch notes, and I wanted to just go ahead and cover the uniques here. So starting right off with all of the classes, meaning you can play any class, you don't have these. So these are some brand new gloves over here, and a lot of these, this is my first time checking out, so it's kind of my reaction to them. So this is the Pain Gorder's Gauntlets. These are some brand new unique gloves, and it says damaging enemies with a cast non-basic skill marks them for 3 seconds. When a basic skill first hits a marked enemy, the basic skill's damage is echoed to all marked enemies, dealing 100 to 200x increased damage. You know, that is actually a pretty big number, but remember, it's still a basic skill, so maybe with some sort of a druid build, maybe you can do it with some basics. There's not really too many basic skill builds in the game that I think people want to play. However, there is technically a Frenzy Barb that you can maybe try out, and also with Rogue, the Puncture skill is actually quite good, so those are the ones that I would consider. Next up, though, we have the aspect of adaptability. So it's a utility one, and it says, so this one is a unique pair of gloves. This one is a, I think this is, it just says utility, so I'm guessing this is a legendary aspect. So it says, when cast below 50% maximum resource, basic skills generate 3 of your primary resource once per cast. The other part is when cast at or above 50% maximum resource, basic skills deal 40 to 80% increased damage. Okay, this could be pretty good to mix in with the very first one. So now we have basic skills potentially being actually pretty good. Unless this is additive. I'm hoping that this is a X multiplicative. With this, maybe we can actually see some pretty cool builds out of it. Now, unfortunately, with most basic skills, they don't really like cleave, meaning that they hit like a bunch of targets at once. There are probably some that do, but a lot of them are single target based, so maybe surprisingly for bosses, basic skills might actually be a thing. Next up, that we have Juggernaut's aspect. So it's a defensive aspect. It says you gain 0.75 to 1.25 armor, but your evade has 100% increased cooldown. Okay, this could actually be really huge, because I wasn't too much of a fan of running the disobedience in every single build, and this might be a little bit of a nicer change because it's always going to be up. Now, there's a downside with it, but I think people can deal with the downside. It's not that bad. Next up, unless you're playing to both, then it might actually matter. Well, that's if you have the Vampiric power also. Anyways, next up, Ring updates. Ring of the Starless Skies. This thing was absolutely terrible. So the new unique Ring of the Starless Skies makes it so as previous, when you would cast a core skill, it would reduce the cost, and if you used even any mobility skill, even just an evade, it would reset this thing. It was terrible. So the new one is spending resource reduces your resource cost and increases your damage by 10x for 3 seconds up to 40. So it's like a 40x multiplicative, I'm guessing, which is like, okay. It just says reduces your resource cost, not by a set amount. Assuming that it's 40%, maybe it can actually be pretty good. And there's a new offensive aspect of the Expectant. So damage bonus now has a 5-second duration to be used. Damage, huh. Okay, so this is, it's just any damage bonus? Okay, well, let's go check out what they did. Or is this with Ring of the Starless Skies, that lasting 5 seconds? Okay, anyways. Next up, we have the Melted Heart of Select. No, this is another aspect. It just says damage bonus. Maybe they modified something else. And this is not like a brand new one, it's just a modified one. Anyways, Melted Heart of Selig, all stats increase to 2x normal value. Core skill damage changed to movement speed. That's actually pretty good. Damage while healthy increased to 3x normal value, and the unique power has changed. Wow, they completely reworked it. The previous used to be gain 30 maximum resource. In addition, when you take damage, you would drain 3 resource for every 1% of life you would have lost instead, basically making some people immortal. Now, its new power is to gain 60 maximum resource, and 75% of incoming damage drains 2 resource for every 1% of life you would have lost instead. Okay, so it's like more resource. So it doesn't absorb everything, it just absorbs partial. So it's going to be a little bit harder to run, potentially. So maybe you could look at it as a nerf, but there are some nice little changes here. So what are your thoughts on that? Okay, so I know that they were reworking overpower. So overpower attacks gain 1% damage down from 2% per 1% of your base life. If you have fortified, then overpower attacks now gain 1% damage down from 2% of your base life that you have in bonus life above your base life. Okay, so basically overpower damage is cut in half. Okay, big nerfs on that. Okay, so as far as Barbarian, these are the new unique and legendaries for the Barbarian. So we have Ring of the Ravenous. So it says Ren's duration is increased by 2 to 4 seconds. Damaging enemies with brawling skills applies 2 stacks of Ren's bleed. This effect can only occur once every 4 seconds per enemy. Okay. I mean, 2 stacks of it, you can start getting a lot of damage. I think it's like with like hemorrhage and stuff like that. You can probably get some good bleed builds. And I was already talking about how like Ren and Whirlwind hopefully will be like the good skills in this season. So let's see if they buff Whirlwind as well. Aspect of the Sundered Ground Offensive. Every 25 seconds, upheaval is guaranteed to overpower and deals some increased damage. The timer is reduced by 4 seconds when upheaval overpowers a boss or elite enemy. Oh, okay. So, I mean, that's a really long time. But there's a reduction in... Okay, so skills charge. I don't really want to go over it in this video. I'm going to make a dedicated video just so we have like kind of like these bite-sized videos versus going over every single patch note, which may take like an hour. Okay, so I'm just looking for the changes on the, again, uniques and legendaries. So for Druid, let's see what we got. Unsung Aesthetics Wraps. So Lightning Storm gains 1 additional strike each time it grows. Lightning Storm's critical strike causes lightning to strike twice, dealing 10 to 20% increased damage. Okay, so that's okay, so on average you could probably get like well, with lightning you could probably push like maybe 70% crit on Druid towards like the higher end. So being able to strike twice is actually pretty big, but it is still a skill that you have to channel and it has to grow. But if you could deal double damage and it does another set of increased damage, that could be pretty good. I'm guessing these are going to be some gloves. Next up, though, we have the Virulent utility. It says when Radiant infects an enemy, reduce its cooldown by 0.3 to 0.6 seconds. This cooldown reduction is tripled when infecting elites. Okay. Fortunately, Rabies doesn't do really good damage, but I'm sure they're going to be buffing it because like no one used it. If anyone has tried it, you know, like it is not very strong. Okay, we're not going over the rest of the patch notes though for this because I just want to go over the again uniques and legendaries. So next up with the Necromancer, what did we get? We got the Mutilator Plate. So I'm guessing this is like some armor. You are Bloodlance, and when Bloodlance would deal damage to you, it instead fortifies you for 1 to 2% of your maximum life and has a 5% chance to form a Blood Orb. Bloodlance deals 10 to 20% increased damage. Okay, so maybe Bloodlance will be a little bit more popular here. It was actually already pretty decent at the higher end of the game, so that's going to be a nice little change because it's like for every enemy that's Bloodlance you get some bonuses, and because it just considers you Bloodlance, there might be some cool things that you can do with this. Next up, though, we have the Shattered Spirits aspect, which is an offensive one. It says casting Bone Spear also launches 18 bone splinters in all directions, dealing 200 to 400% increased damage and generating 6 S per enemy hit. Well, this is actually pretty insane. So this could be maybe one of the stronger builds for like just like some sort of like, let's say RGK in like Diablo 3. Basically just a boss destroyer over here. Pretty crazy. 18 bone splinters. Now if the target can get hit by this like 18 of them, I mean that is just bonkers levels of damage. This is shenanigans. But I'm guessing this doesn't hit all the same targets. But like I said, if the same target can be hit another 18 times. That is crazy. Okay. Well, I was really hoping to see some sort of new changes to like the Ring of Metal and just some flat out minion buffs. So I'm going to be honest, I'm a little disappointed with that. Maybe they buffed some of the other things over here, but again, I just want to cover the uniques in this video. And then next up with Rogue, what do we get? So we have some Beastfall Boots. It says, when you cast a ultimate skill, your next core skill consumes all of your energy and deals 0.5 to 1.5 increased damage per energy. consume. Using a cooldown restores 5 energy. Okay, so when you use an ultimate, I'm pretty sure you can refill all of your energy anyways. So then it consumes all of it. Okay. And then using any cooldown restores 5 energy. This could actually be pretty fun, especially if you stack a bunch of extra additional resource generation. This could actually be pretty good, and you can actually not even need to run to bolts. Although you probably don't need to run to bolts because the combo points is more than likely getting nerfed. Next up, though, we have a new defensive aspect called the Resistance Assassin's aspect. Breaking concealment grants 10% resistance and maximum resist to all elements for 4 seconds. Killing an elite enemy reduces concealment's cooldown by 6 to 10. Okay, that's too bad. Considering if you can just keep on keeping that up, I like that. And then looks like that, unless there's some like other additional thing here other than, did we just skip out on the sorcerers? Okay, there we go. There's the sorcerers. So we already went over the Stormfall Corona. That's the meteor one that gives you an additional meteor that drops. And then with the aspect of the shredded blades, what is this? Ice Blade's chance to apply vulnerable is increased by 20%, and the vulnerable duration is increased by 4 seconds. You gain 15 to 25x vulnerable damage. Now, unfortunately, I think it's still going to be like using Frost Nova as our main source, but there is also the pet that can apply. This is one of the biggest problems Sorcerers has, is applying a consistent source of vulnerability. Oh wait, hold on, I gotta read this one because this is like, okay, ball lightning, enhanced ball lightning changed to have its attack rate increase with attack speed up to 25. This was 200. It's basically 1/10. That is a massive nerf. Okay, but I think that's going to be pretty much covering all of them. They're just going to mention all of the newer, like, smaller changes in the game, a bunch of miscellaneous. But as far as the newer changes, let me actually double check on Rogue, because they mentioned that they were going to buff Wind Force, and like I might have actually skipped that one out, and I wanted to just double check on that one because Control F over here, because that's something that I remember they said in the campfire chat that they were changing. Okay, is it not in here, or maybe it's in like another category? Okay, well, either way, as far as the brand new ones, I guess some of them are getting reworked too. But as far as the brand new uniques and legendaries, which ones are you guys the most excited about? Personally, for me, I like the idea of being able to use more than just a core skill. So the Pain Gorgers and aspect of adaptability, these could actually be kind of fun to mix and match with both, but you'll have to find a good basic skill, which is kind of hard in Diablo 4. But what are your thoughts on the new uniques and legendaries? Let me know down below. But thanks for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out.